So that's Iran. Then we've got, going back to Israel, of course, there is Netanyahu is the big problem in terms of the stalemate. At least that's my perception of the whole thing, for the simple reason that, you know, since he was elected, and he was elected on the platform, he wanted to have more settlements. He wasn't in favor of a two-state solution. He was quite adamant about Jerusalem remaining the capital of Israel, and that was never going to change. Since then, he's moved a little bit. He's, by August, and this is, remember, Obama, as soon as he came in, appointed Mitchell, and they've been putting a huge amount of pressure against Netanyahu for a long period of time, right up to the present day, to change his position. And the most he has changed is really to say that I'll recognize a Palestinian state, but he's insisting that Israel retain minimum 50% of the West Bank, which is a non-starter. He wants huge swaths of land, especially along the Jordanian border, to remain in Israel control for security reasons. And he's still adhering to all his other positions, so it doesn't bode too well. And he wants to control the airspace and the airways and the borders and probably the water resources, because since 1967, Israel's been, this is from a book I read umpteen years ago, it's probably more now, but they were 25% of West Bank water was being utilized by Israelis, so they're probably totally dependent on that. So that's another whole area of conflict, which, you know, we haven't seen yet, but still could be an issue. And so then we come up to September, and then things start to heat up. First of all, Netanyahu makes his really first concession to Mitchell on September the 8th. He says he will put a 6-month moratorium on the West Bank settlements, but he won't do it for Jerusalem, and he won't do it for public buildings or facilities in the settlements in the West Bank or Jerusalem. Now, up to that point in time, we've got something like 3,000 homes have received various levels of approval. So he's and a great portion of that is in Jerusalem. So it's not a big concession when one looks at it. September the 9th, Netanyahu makes a statement that his government should be credited with taking extraordinary steps to limit settlement activity in the West Bank. Amazing. Now, what's even more amazing is that after a considerable amount of pressure from the United States, he doesn't budge. And the United States does not take any further action, which they could. I mean, they have these arms agreements with Israel, they have loans to Israel. I mean, they could easily put pressure if they wanted to make Israel change its mind, in my view, and they just didn't have the political will to do it. And so on November the 1st, Hillary Clinton makes this extraordinary statement that really upset all the Palestinians and the Arab states, that Netanyahu's steps to freeze settlements was unprecedented, you know. And then she went to Morocco and tried to duck for cover a little bit and backpedal, but really didn't backpedal except to emphasize that the U.S. was upset with Israel, and that Israel's steps fell far short of the expectations of the United States, which really didn't appease anybody. Now, I think that is a big mistake in two ways. I think it may have influenced the Iranians to take a bolder position. I think there could be a connection there, because if the U.S. cannot be counted on to take any serious action in Israel, then why expect them to take any serious action against Iran?